We're not black. How about that? We're not black, nigga. We're Indian. Yeah. We're Native American. Yeah. How many of y'all grandmothers got Indian in your family? Yeah. I'm Indian. Wait a second, but what happened to the Indian? We black. Show me black on the planet. We're not black, nigga. We're Indian. Yeah. We're Native American.
Why are you putting Native Americans in here? Why isn't this just for black people?
Well, black people are Native Americans. You know, we've had, a lot of proof that, some of us started here in this land. Everybody wasn't brought over from Africa. So, we have to, like you say, unpack all of that and try to, find the true lineage of people in this country, because some, I used to tease family members who would say, I got a little Indian in me. I would think they didn't want to be all the way black. But when I really do the research, a lot of them did have a little Indian in them. So, it's one of those things where, we want to be counted on all levels, not just, through slave ships. Like I said, we were here before Columbus. So a lot of us. And so we want to make sure that's included and not excluded.
I am not a slave. I was born to slide. I am not afraid. Hop about the K. Oh yeah, free to God. They went out of state. I'm a child of God. I do not belong to the United States. For Black History, tell Uncle Sam he can catch a fade. I went to school, graduated at the top of my class. Still never thought I was over my peers. We did that time together 12 years. Ain't that some movie? I think that it is. They won't control me, I'm really a member. I traveled that road, I came back with the jewels for 'em. When I pull up, they pee how the roof going. We some dog killers, won't chew bones. Know we all spit 'em, we supreme. Somewhere I read a nigga had a dream.
You don't have to try to be something you're not. God, I can't stand this.
Trying to be something I'm not? Trying to be proud of my African heritage? If that's being something I'm not, then fine.
My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois. My grandfather was a black from a long line of journeymen who lived in Connecticut since the establishment of the colonies. My father was a Bajan who came to this country a cabin boy in a merchant marina.
I know all of that, Mama.
Then know this. I am alive because of the blood of a people who never scraped or begged or apologized for what they were. They asked only one thing of this world: to be allowed to be. I gave you my grandmother's name, a woman who bore 9 children and educated them all. Who held off 6 white men with a shotgun when they tried to drag one of her sons off to jail for not knowing his place. And you had to reach into an African dictionary to find a name that would make you proud.
I was born black, I live black, and I'm gonna die probably because some cracker that knows I'm black better than you, nigga, is probably gonna put a bullet in the back of my head.
This is the remix. My father was raised in the era when black niggas couldn't claim Native American.
Many know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a native Black American and a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, go to nativeblackancestry.com to schedule a consultation.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British men. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners, raised up the children to worship their images, set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them, and this shit get way deeper than your pigment.
All right. Shout out to the folks tuning in on TikTok. Shout out to the folks tuning in on YouTube. This is a live call-in show. You guys already know how it goes down. Before we open up the phone lines, there's a lot of you guys who are tuning in for the first time, so let me just give you a quick introduction into how we get down with these live call-in shows, y'all. Check it out. In the Black Vault. Next up, where you calling in from?
What's down, man? I'm from Louisiana, bro. Like, I see what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Time out. You're moving a little fast. You said Louisiana. Where's your family from originally?
Just mainly Louisiana, bro. But I trace my ancestry all the way to Nigeria, Mali, and all other places in Africa too. But I had a little bit of Native American.
So your ancestors are originally from Africa would be the answer to the question.
You heard me? That dominant gene, African, bro.
I didn't ask you if a dominant gene was African. I asked you where your family's from, and it sounds like the answer is Nigeria.
Even the
right?
people, even the videos and the pictures you see, bro, them people don't...
Sir, I'm asking you a very specific question. Are you saying your family is from Nigeria? Yes or no?
Hey, mostly Nigerian, bro. When I look at the Nigerian people, I can see me in them.
Okay. You're saying your family's from Nigeria. When you look at the Nigerian people, you can see you in the Nigerian people. I got you. Who told you that you're from Nigeria?
You can find my nose, bro. But back to the native people.
No. We're not getting to a native piece yet. I just asked you a question. Who told you that you're from Nigeria?
Bro, I done took DNA tests, bro.
No, not the DNA test. And he didn't even say I took a DNA test. He said I took DNA tests. Wait, hold on, y'all. I gotta read that. He said I took. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I'll read it back. He said I took a DNA test. Hold on. That you're from Nigeria.
Bro, I done took DNA tests, bro.
He took DNA tests. The DNA tests say he from Nigerian, so he from Nigeria. Okay. Come on. He can just tell. Shiz over on YouTube says, "Hey yo, did he just say you can find his nose?" He said, "Hey yo, yeah." He said his nose is Nigerian or some shit, y'all. I don't know. Testises, yeah. Thank you. He said testises. And y'all, before we continue with that interaction, I actually have quite a few people already trying to call in over on the TikTok side of things. So let me just bring up some live callers real quick from TikTok. And we'll see what they have to say. First up, I'll bring up Chikora Goods. Then we'll go to Guru, then Shauna, then Mimi. Bring you guys up in that order. Give me just a second to get right. Shout out to the folks watching on TikTok. Shout out to the folks watching on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, check out my TikTok. It's called Native Black Ancestry, just like the website, nativebblackancestry.com. Or if you're watching on TikTok, check out the YouTube. It's called Mike TV. Just type in Mike TV on YouTube. It'll pop right on that. But let me see if I got this audio working correctly. Chikora, when I bring you up, let us know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind.
Hey, I'm from Michigan. Just listening in. Long-time listener. Keep up the good work, Mike.
Hey, I appreciate it. And you know what? My bad. I haven't gone live on TikTok in a while. I thought that all you guys were backstage trying to call in. Actually, it says invite. So I just invited you up, huh? My bad.
Yeah, you did.
I thought you was trying to call in. Well, thanks for answering the call. Since I got you here, let us know, how long have you been tuned in?
About last summer, me and you had worked together, and I was going to get together with you, but I never really went through with it. But I've done a good deal with my genealogy. On my mom's side, I'm really far back. On my dad's side, I'm in the 1830s. Found out we're from Arkansas, Kansas, and West Virginia.
That's what's up. And when you say that we did something together, are you referring to a genealogy consultation?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. Well, hey, there's a lot of people who are just now tuning into me and my content for the first time. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you could just kind of let people know what the genealogy consultation is like. You know, a lot of people have never even heard of a genealogy consultation. I get emails all the time, and people are like, "Hey, Mike, like I want to do a genealogy consultation, but I want to make sure that you're going to protect my DNA and my blood." And I'm like, "Yo, y'all think I'm in a lab coat in the garage with a bunch of blood vials?" Like, this is paper trail research. But go ahead, you have the floor.
So what you're going to do is you're going to go to nativeblackancestry.com. You're going to sign up for that consultation. It's like, what, 30 minutes to an hour?
Mm-hmm.
And then Mike is going to call you via Zoom. And then you're going to present him some information. And he's also going to present you some information on all the steps and what he's going to do and all the services that he offers, which are, again, really good services.
I appreciate that. Hey, it's crazy that you called it. Well, I'm sorry, you didn't call in. I was an idiot. I thought you were backstage trying to call in, but it was just showing me you're an audience member. I invited you up, but I didn't even know just by looking at your TikTok tag that you were a previous client of mine. So it's just crazy that, you know, we got you on the platform. Folks can hear you on TikTok. Folks can hear you on YouTube. And for the folks on YouTube, they know exactly what I'm going to reference. But I just did a live stream on YouTube, and I had this like person trying to like expose me, acting like a disgruntled client. They were like, Mike, I paid you $1,400 to do my genealogy on October 25th, and you still haven't finished. Should I just get a refund? Yada yada yada. And we just kind of, you know, not necessarily roasted them, but we all had a nice laugh at their expense just on how unrealistic it is to expect to get genealogy results in less than 3 months as a standard window. I do have some folks that actually pay for priority research, but let me know when you did the consultation with me, I'm sure my pricing structure was a little bit different, but when it came time to present the option of me doing the research for you, did you feel like I had done a good enough job giving you information to where you can continue doing the research on your own? Or did you feel like you did still need the professional route and maybe I was just outside of your budget?
You were pretty thorough in all the information that you provided on how to do your own genealogy. But, you know, there is that wall, that 1830s wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
haven't sought other professional help, but the TikTok community here, everybody's a genealogist just about.
Yeah.
So everybody's helping everybody, and I do like that. But a professional definitely will get you the results that you want.
Yeah, and that's why I'm actually going to be going a lot more harder with the TikTok content. I know I haven't really been publishing many TikTok videos, doing many broadcasts on TikTok, but I'm really going to go harder on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, because there's a big community on folks on TikTok who need this kind of information. And there's a lot of scamming ass genealogists on TikTok. I'm just going to call it spade a spade, okay? I done had quite a few people consult with me talking about, Mike, I got scammed by somebody on TikTok. And I said, wait a minute. TikTok is the wild, wild west out here.
Yep. One of my very first posts on here was about those Ziamaru.
I didn't even want to name it. I was going to name it, but I said no. But that's exactly what I was thinking about. Yeah. A lot of people I consult with say, yo, I paid the Amaru Republic fools like some money to be part of the tribe. And I didn't even realize they just like started some fake tribe. And it's not like people out here starting fake tribes, y'all.
Yeah. Well, hey, I just want to say, keep up the good work. Appreciate what you're doing. And you have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
I'll be listening in.
Yeah. Sorry to put you on the spot like that. You take it easy. Yeah, that was crazy, yo. I swear I've not been on TikTok for a while, so I thought I had like 4 people backstage. I'm like, damn, that's early. People already calling in. But no, I sent him an invite. We do actually have somebody backstage now. On the TikTok side of things, Corey Schism, let us know where you calling in from and what's on your mind.
Oh, snap. What up? It's good, family. Can y'all hear me?
Yep. Where you calling in from? What's on your mind?
Oh, it's good, man. I just saw the Native Black Ancestry, and I just wanted to join in because that's me. You know, that's my family. And if
maybe you should start by letting us know where are you calling in from, and then you can get into what's on your mind. Go ahead, Corey. Unmute yourself.
I am calling in from Brooklyn, New York, my friend.
Oh, cool. Brooklyn, New York. By way of?
Yeah. I was born in Boston, Massachusetts.
No. By way of means like, where's your family from originally?
So my family on either side, they're from all over the United States, like from Canada to Florida, and everywhere in between, pretty much. My grandmother Seminole, my father Micmac, my mother is both of those things, and from what she told me, and a few other things mixed in there, which is pretty interesting.
And what are those other few things that are mixed in there?
So when I asked my aunt, because my grandmother, she said we buried her in Florida. She said she was Seminole, and that's where she wanted to be buried because that's where her family were from. But she also told my aunt that we were Blackfoot and Cherokee also. So, which seems to be a very common thing for Black people in America, or so-called Black people.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not sure about that being a common thing. I'm a full-time genealogist, and I consult with people that have a wide range of tribal affiliations. It sounds like maybe you're just naming some of the more prevalent tribes. I mean,
No,
can you
I'm
actually,
telling you what my family
hold on,
told me.
time out. Can you name the name of a tribe in Florida other than the Seminole?
No, I'm just telling you what my aunt
Sir,
told me.
sir, I just asked you a very specific question. Please answer it.
I'm answering it. I'm telling you what my aunt.
Let me say it again, because your aunt has nothing to do with the question I'm asking you. Can you name any other tribe in Florida other than the Seminole? Yes or no? Go ahead and mute yourself.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm not from down there.
I got it.
I'm from
I got
Boston,
it.
Brooklyn.
You answered the question. You don't have to give the explaining, and I get it. How about any other tribe on the East Coast other than the Nipmuc? Do you know the name of any other tribes? Or
Of course I do. Of course I do. My cousins are Wampanoag. We're from Massachusetts, like I said, man. Micmac are from Nova Scotia. They migrated down into New England where my grandmother's from. She came from Nova Scotia to Boston in the very, very early 1900s. And on my mother's side, they came from down south up to Massachusetts and in between. So it's pretty interesting.
I got you. And real quick, I'm gonna put you on mute for just a second. I'm live on YouTube. I'm live on TikTok. I gotta, do a little bit of housekeeping. I got folks on YouTube asking what the number is. For the folks on YouTube, there's a StreamYard link in the chat. Let me go ahead and post it again so you guys can call in. I will open up the actual phone lines in a little bit. It's just kind of annoying when people try to call in on the phone and on StreamYard. So we'll get that popping in just a moment. Also on TikTok, somebody on TikTok, who was it? Bars Black said, how much does it cost and what's the process? If you're referring to the genealogy consultations I provide, just go to the website nativeblackancestry.com. I've got a few different options depending on what you're looking for. You can get a basic consultation. You can get a consultation that's recorded, so you don't have to worry about taking notes, or you can get a consultation with an additional history lesson where I break down more historical context on Native Black American heritage. But check out the website nativeblackancestry.com. The lowest price consultation is like $100, $119. And for the folks on TikTok or YouTube, if you use the coupon code TikTok, one word, all lowercase, that hooks you up with 20% off your consultation. Let me just real quick get caught up with the chat, and then we'll keep talking with our buddy old pal here from, I forget if it was Brooklyn or Massachusetts, but we're going to get right back there. Okay, Brooklyn, thank you. Random burner account says, just let them be native if they want to be native. Yeah, I mean, what's so wrong with that? Random burner account? What's so wrong with just letting us do us instead of trolling in my chat? Shakira says, say Nitmac again. Y'all might leave him alone. So he says he's a tether. She's a whole white girl. Well, I haven't asked them if socially they would pass for black, but I don't know. Flowery Girl says, you're talking too fast. Can you please repeat the website? Okay, I'll say it slower, and I'll do you one better, and I'll also show you. So the website is Native Black Ancestry.com. This is the website right here. You can scroll down a little bit, and there's a section that says Real People, Real Results, where you can access my calendar and book a genealogy consultation. And actually, real quick, here's a word from one of my recent genealogy clients. Oh, but first, we're giving you a pop-up ad to my free ebook, Reclassified, the Hidden History of Black Indians in the Southeast. So yes, everybody who goes to the website, enter your email address and you get free access to this ebook of mine. But we'll be right back with our caller in just a second here.
Hi, my name is Frances Tuck, and I contacted Mike from Mike TV on YouTube. because I wanted to find out about my family's Native American history that I believed existed. Through the research that I was able to do through Mike TV, I was able to find out that our name is indeed on the registry. I had a consultation with Mike today, and because of his advice and the research that he has done, I am now confident that I'm able to find my family's roots in the Native American History database. Thank you, Mike.
Real people, real results. What are you waiting for? Make sure to check out nativeblackancestry.com. And I had to drop our guest. I mean, he was trying to interrupt my little ad for some reason. Talk about poor housekeeping. But whoever that was, go ahead and request to call back in and we'll bring you right back up. We just can't have you interrupting the client testimonial. While we wait for that person to call back in, we've got UGO 12. UGO.
Hello, my name is Hugo.
Oh, you go. Well, you go. Let us know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind.
Oh, where am I calling in from? Oh, where do I come from or something?
No, I asked you where you're calling in from.
Oh, well, I called in because of the prompt.
Okay,
From my phone.
ma'am. I did not ask you why you're calling in. I asked you where you're calling in from. Like, what part of the country are you in?
I'm in Maryland.
Maryland, okay, for sure. And what's on your mind?
Black Americans were in Americas long before the African slave trade. Yes, they were in the Americas long before the African slave trade. Latinos and Africans have the biggest identity crisis. Agree or disagree? I will say neutral on that one because, Africans and Latinos, they have their own going on.
Okay. Well, if there's anything else that's on your mind, go ahead and lay it on us.
No. Thank you for having me answer to the prompt, though.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in. Don't hesitate to call in the future. Nice talking to you. And y'all be nice in the chat,
Hello?
okay? Y'all be nice in the chat. Yep, are you still there? Oh, nope, looks like she dropped off. Y'all better be nice in the chat. Hey, normally I'm the one who's not nice. It's opposite day today, okay? I'm the nice one and y'all the mean one. Nobody says we'll try. y'all be cutting up in the chat. Good Lord, good Lord. All right, hold on. So it looks like our resident white boy cosplaying as a native Black American doesn't want to call in. That's unfortunate. I really wish he never interrupted my client testimonial because then we could have got to why he's calling in and why he's trying to pass for indigenous. Like, yeah, bro, like my granny's like Wampanoag and like my grandfather's like, hey bro, what's that tribe in Florida? Oh, Seminoles? Yeah, my grandfather's like Seminole, dude. And like, fuck, bro, it's like totally tubular. Like we're indigenous and like shit, like family. Like I'm one of you, bro. Like, yeah, natives. Like, bro, what the fuck was that? I was trying so hard to keep a straight face. Y'all were probably watching and you're like, why is Mike not cutting up? I was just giving him rope. I was just giving him all the rope in the world, okay? I was giving him all the rope in the world. And then this dumbass had to interrupt my client testimonial and we had to drop him. Come on. Motherfucker was up here like, dude, bro, like I'm a Black Indian, dude. Like shit. Like you're Black, I'm Black, you're Indian, I'm Indian. Like I just want to be you, bro. Like I just really want to be you. Oh, y'all are cracking up in the chat. We get some interesting callers to say the least. While we wait to see if we have any more live callers calling in on TikTok, we have some people waiting backstage on YouTube. Hey, and we all have those members in our community that were raised by a white parent or something, raised in the suburbs, they speak with a very interesting tonality. That was not it. That was not it. That was not it. And he started off strong too. I swear within the first 10 seconds, this motherfucker called me family. It took all I had within me to say, family? You said no relation. No relation. What are we talking about? Let's go ahead and bring up Shell. Shell, where are you calling in from and what's on your mind?
Can you hear me? I'm driving.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Go for it.
Oh, okay. I'm the one that sent you the $49. I'm so happy you're not leaving. Oh my God. Almost had a heart attack. Thank
Oh,
you
I'm
so
sorry
much.
to do that to you.
Thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm here for. You know, I'll never leave you guys. I'm just gonna really have to slow down dramatically on the live stream so that I can focus more on, expanding to other platforms.
Um, n- um, um, Next year, I'm definitely gonna help you. Would like to help you. I like your help concerning my genealogy. That you can't do it right now, and I'm definitely gonna buy your book. Can I make a suggestion concerning your book? It looks really interesting. I can't
Yeah, go
wait to
for it.
get it. Uh, have you thought about may having how thick it is and everything, and how much content? Have you thought about making a workbook with that and have a test too
So
in the book too?
I don't really have a test or a workbook, but that is something that I include in the course that I
I mean,
just launched.
reclassified. Oh, that's the course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's
okay.
so the book is just a book, but I did just launch a hidden heritage crash course, and that course does have a workbook and study guides and all that good stuff.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah, for
much.
sure. Yeah, and thanks for calling in, and I appreciate the super chat. Thanks for your support. All right. Till next time. I am baby girl's daughter, Slaughter. Oh, that's a slaughter shit. I don't say daughter. Oops. She's slaughtering shit up here. I am baby girl Slaughter. Says I just purchased the book. Great read so far, Mike. Well, hey, I appreciate it. I know a lot of you guys are wondering when the hardcover version is coming out. Give me like another month or two. Don't worry, for everybody that buys the ebook, I'm going to give you a special discounted rate on the hardcover, so it's not like you're turning around and buying the whole book again. And the hardcover is going to be more expanded. I'm adding like an extra 60 to 80 pages to the hardcover, so it'll definitely be well worth the wait. Let me see. Do we have anybody else trying to call in real quick? Let me see. We got a lot of people in the TikTok chat real active. Let me go ahead and send some invites out to TikTok real quick, see what the folks are talking about. I'm glad that we got more and more members of our community looking into genealogy research. That's what it's all about. Can't know where you're going until you know where you came from. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and throw out some invites over here on the TikTok side of things. See if anybody wants to chop it up. I really love to hear from some naysayers, some detractors, some people who disagree with the prompt, some people who believe that Black Americans are just these pretendians who are ashamed to be African. I mean, where are you guys at?
Illegal immigrants commit
Where are you
way
guys
less
at? Tyrone Leone. I'm gonna keep you on mute for just a moment, Tyrone. Let me finish sending out these invites real quick. Tyrone was listening to some 4chan all right type shit. Dude, these illegal immigrants, bro. Hey, that sounds like our caller from Brooklyn. You done tracked down the caller from Brooklyn. He out there making Charlie Kirk videos. Look, bro, the migrant crisis is just out of hand, dude. And our white women are aborting our babies, bro. So, like, fuck, what are we gonna do? Like, the blacks are getting power. Oh, it's so bad being a white man right now. Yeah, y'all, I can't even be on the internet like that nowadays. White folks just crying. And you know what's super funny? I swear I'm not up to date with a lot of trends. When I first heard of black fatigue, I swear to God, word to my mother, I thought black fatigue referenced our fatigue to having to see and listen to these whiny ass pale face motherfuckers. And then I learned black fatigue was really them complaining about us. And I'm like, what the fuck are you complaining about, bitch? Go back to Europe. Go back to Europe, to that sewer city called London. Okay. To that sewer city called London. But we do have a caller up here. King of the South and the West. Go ahead, unmute yourself. Let us know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind.
Yeah, I'm calling from South Korea.
South Korea?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let us know what country in Africa are you people originally from?
Yeah, I'm from Liberia.
Liberia. Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious because I haven't spoke to a Liberian in a while, and I've never heard of a Liberian in South Korea. So I'm really intrigued to learn a little bit about you. Were you born and raised in South Korea, or did you move there when you were early?
No, I moved to South Korea when I was a little bit older.
Okay, gotcha. And what motivated you to move to South Korea?
My uncle was married to a Korean.
Oh, your uncle got him a Korean girl. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I feel you. I
So,
feel you. And but
so
did
I
he
was
hold
working
on, hold
with
on.
his company.
Did he get him a Korean while he was in Liberia, or did he like go to South Korea for
Why
work? And
what no why he was in Liberia.
oh, okay, so he's in
She was working.
Liberia.
She was working with the embassy in
Oh, okay. So
like the
he's in Liberia.
consulate.
He meets a South Korean girl working at the embassy, ends up getting with
Yeah,
her, and now y'all move to South Korea.
yeah.
Oh, sounds like y'all hit a lick. Okay, okay. Y'all done came up in the world. I feel you. Well, go ahead and let us know what's on your mind.
Well, I was just listening in and I saw the prompt and then I got an invite. Um, yeah, the topic is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's Black Americans were in America long before African slave trade. I disagree. I don't believe that Black Americans are indigenous to the Americas. I believe that they end up in America because of the Atlanta slave trade, which happened falsely. They, yeah, because of the slave trade. And Latinos and Africans have the biggest identity
Well, hold on.
crisis.
Time out.
Yeah,
Before you move on to the second part of the prompt, let's
yeah,
address your first remarks. So
yeah,
you say that you don't believe that Black Americans have been in America since before the African slave trade. You don't think that
yeah,
they're indigenous. You think that they exclusively descend from African slaves shipped here. I got to ask
yeah.
you, what's your source on that?
There are a lot of sources
Great. If there's a lot
that
of
sources.
sources, then you can name one. Go ahead.
And besides, I come from an American
No.
Liberian family.
Sir. I didn't ask you if you're Liberian family or doctors. I said, can you name a source? And your response was there's lots of sources. So if there's lots of sources saying that we exclusively come from African slaves, you should be able to at least name one. Go ahead. What's the name of the source?
You asking me what's the name of the source? What happened to the slave trade, the slave trade, ships?
I don't know why you're asking me
Don't
questions about slave
okay.
ships. Hold on. Time
Are you
out.
saying
Time out. Time out. I don't know why you're asking me about slave ships. I asked you to cite your source. You said there's lots of sources. I said, okay, then name one. And now you're talking about ships?
okay? My first source is with Malcolm X. When Malcolm X said that African Americans were forcibly removed from Africa to America. They are African Americans are African. From Malcolm X himself. There is no leader. There.
Time out. Please stay on mute for a minute. I don't believe you. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to look it up. I don't remember ever hearing Malcolm X say that all Black Americans exclusively descend from African slaves and aren't indigenous to America. I don't remember Malcolm X ever talking about that. So let me do a quick search. If this is actually a quote from Malcolm X, I should be able to find it. Malcolm X, Black Americans are from Africa. Let me see. And help me out, chat. Are you guys familiar with that Malcolm X quote? I mean, I'm just confused. Let me see if we can find an actual quote from him. I mean, hey, I know Malcolm X was a Pan-African, so I'm not surprised if he promoted the notion that we come from Africa in the early to mid 1900s. I mean, they didn't have access to the same level of information. They were just trying to get civil rights. Oh, it's a new day. But because I'm looking for that quote and I can't find it anywhere. I am finding that he was a revolutionary in the Pan-African movement. He did advocate for Africans all across the world, but I can't find a single quote where Malcolm X says Black Americans are not indigenous to America. And here's the thing that's crazy about that. Even if we did find a quote, even if we found a quote from Malcolm X in 1945 saying Black Americans got shipped from Africa, that does not discount anything that I'm saying. There's plenty of Pan-Africans in 2026 talking about we're all West African slaves shipped from. Just because somebody says that does not make it true. You have to then look at their source, which is why as soon as you said that, I asked you for your source. And although it was like pulling teeth, you finally gave a source. You said Malcolm X gave some quote, and I can't find that quote. But we all know Malcolm X was a Pan-African. That's like saying Marcus Garvey believed Black Americans come from Africa. I mean, yeah, they promote Pan-Africanism. That's like their whole shtick. But let me see. We're going to give the audience a luxury of choice. Put a 0 in the chat if you want to see if maybe he can name another source, since his first source didn't really work, since we can't find any quote where Malcolm X said that Black Americans exclusively descend from African slaves and have no indigenous heritage. I can't find that quote anywhere. So put a 0 in the chat if you want to see if he can give us another source, maybe one that we can find, or put a 1 in the chat if you just want to continue with his other points, because his other points, he wanted to then go into the Latin and the African identity crisis. So 0 in the chat if you want to see if he has another source, 1 in the chat if you want to just let him go on to his next topic of discussion. I've seen some 1s in the chat. I'm seeing some 0s on YouTube. Let me go ahead and tally them up real quick. I'm seeing some. Okay, I'm seeing more 0s. I'm seeing 1s and 0s.
I can play it for you. I can play it for you right now.
Sir, relax. I'm doing a poll. Just give me a second. A lot of 0s, a lot of 0s, a lot of 0s. Okay, so sir, it looks like my audience does want to see if you can list another source. You said there was a lot of them, so you should have a second one queued up. What's your other source?
That's what I'm saying. I can play it for you so that the first source that it can be confirmed. I can play the first one for you.
I will give you the opportunity to play and confirm the first source after you appease my audience. My audience wants to see if you have a second source.
Okay, the second source is Martin Luther King. They never claim indigenous.
The second source is Martin Luther King?
Yeah, they never claim indigenous to America.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Hold on. I just need a moment to bring this in. So your source that we're not indigenous, that we exclusively come from West African slaves, is Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. You don't understand how crazy and how asinine those examples are because you're a Liberian living in South Korea. If you were a native Black American like me and all of my audience members, you would know how those are poor sources to cite. Do you know what Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X were living and surviving through? Black folks barely just got off the plantation by the time Martin and Malcolm come around. They didn't have the access to information that we have. Back in the early to mid 1900s, this information was gatekept. You had to have the right credentials, go to the right archive, get the right book. Nowadays, the floodgates have opened, and we have access to information in 2026 that none of our ancestors could have ever dreamed of. If Malcolm X and Martin knew what I knew and had the access to the information that me and my community have, they would have never promoted that Pan-Africanism. Hindsight's 2020. But Tyrone just unmuted himself. So Tyrone, if you want to chime in for a moment, I totally forgot you were there. Go ahead.
Yeah, back then these people had to go off of the Dewey Decimal System, things that we don't even use anymore because it's outdated.
We just barely start to read and write and go to college, and so they didn't really have access to the information we had. What are you talking about? They're coming up in the 1900s. What are you talking about?
And plus, Malcolm X got clowned and questioned by John Henrik Clarke about his understanding of Africa, because from his understanding, he thought everybody was Muslim, and he got challenged by Bayard Rustin on his thoughts of being African and sending people to Africa. And he said, why would you do that when we already are Americans?
And cryptically, Martin did make remarks about Plymouth Rock landing on us and how they were bringing European immigrants to monetize and mechanize our farms while they were still subjugating. I mean, if you really read between the lines, they were saying as much as they can get away with saying in the 1900s. Jeez. But Tyrone, real quick, finish out your remarks, and then we're gonna go ahead and give our other panel member the opportunity to cite a. Oh, well, actually, he already cited a second source. His second source is Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, so
Sir,
we
can I please
let
ask you a question?
You can ask me a question after I let Tyrone finish his remarks. Tyrone, go ahead and finish your remarks.
So what I was saying was many of these cats they stop at
and Tyrone, hold on. Somebody in the TikTok chat just made a comment that I have to address. USA Hood Block Party says he's ignoring all the evidence on the screen. Absolutely. He's talking about some loose quotes from Martin and Malcolm in the 1900s, and on the screen, I have nothing but receipts playing from the 1700s, from the 1600s. This book right here is The Aboriginal Races of North America, talks about Black indigenous people. This book predates Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Hey, sir, while Tyrone talks, maybe you should just pay attention to the slideshow on the screen. But Tyrone, go ahead. You have the floor, brother.
Yeah, Malcolm and Martin, they couldn't speak about their indigenous paradigm in their early stages because, for one, that's not their expertise. One was a Christian, the other one was a Orthodox pseudo-Muslim that got his stuff come up from a spinoff group of the Moorish Science Temple. And with Malcolm X, y'all stuck at his earlier stage in life, but by the time he went over there to Africa at the end of his life, he literally changed over a new leaf and became a multiculturalist and said that he's American. So you can't hold your hat on one instance of Malcolm. And also you got early pioneers that's talking about the indigenous paradigm in the early 1920s, which is J.A. Rogers. You got Booker T. Washington and Carter G. Woodson and many of these other people of color like Jack D. Forbes and Ivan Van Sertima to push that we're Aboriginal to this landmass. So you can't negate that part. You got the flow.
All right, appreciate it. Well, let's go ahead and let our other guests chime in. King of the South and the West. You've got a question for me. Go for it.
Yeah, my first question is that you know the history about Liberia, right? Hello?
Your question is, do I know the history of Liberia?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I want to now. My question to you is that those American Liberians that left from the shores of America that went to Liberia, are they indigenous to America
That
or not?
colonized? You're talking about the Black Americans that colonized Africa.
Yeah, that went to Liberia.
Sir. The word is colonized. They started a colony,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Yeah, they started a colony. That's why I'm asking you: are they indigenous to Liberia or not? I mean, are they indigenous to America or not?
You're asking me if Black Americans that through pressure and coercion relocated to Liberia, if they're indigenous to America? My answer would be most likely, but obviously I'm a genealogist, so I would actually want to see each family's genealogy. But let me educate you on something real quick, because I don't think you understand the history of Liberia or the history of Lincolnia or the history of Isle of Aceh or the history of the colonization scheme. Have you ever heard the word Lincolnia before? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Have you ever heard the word Isle of Aceh before? Yes or no?
No.
Have you ever heard of the colonization scheme? Yes or no?
I've heard about the
No, it's literally called the colonization scheme. Either you've heard of it or you haven't.
No.
Okay. Well, let me educate you, because again, you're an African in South Korea. I don't expect you to know any of this.
Sir, just forget about South Korea. I'm African.
Sir. We don't forget about South Korea. You're an African in an Asian country. You're so far removed from our culture, our country, our people. I'm just stating the obvious for anybody who's new to this broadcast. We have an African in South Korea trying to dictate heritage to us and convince us that we come from the place that his ancestors fled from to go to South Korea. But just hold on just a second. I'm going to educate you. Now, before the Liberia colony, our colonizer, the one that invaded our land and enslaved us in place and racially reclassified us, they tried to do everything in their power to convince us to voluntarily go somewhere else. Abraham Lincoln actually had something called Lincolnia, which was an experiment he tried where he sent over 500 to 600 recently emancipated black folks to an island off the coast of Panama under the guise that they would be free and they would have prosperity. It ended in disaster. They also had another plan for Isle Lavache to do the same thing. It ended in disaster. The only one that seemed to have any foothold was this colonization society. You don't even know about that. Google it. The Colonization Society, which is spearheaded by white people to try to convince indigenous Black Americans that we should voluntarily immigrate somewhere else. Now, because you've never heard of the Colonization Society, I've got to let you know the date of the Colonization Society's founding. The Colonization Society was founded in 1816. And as early as 1816, white people are trying to convince Black indigenous people to move someplace else. Sir, Civil War doesn't end until 1865, emancipation shortly thereafter. So if you're trying to tell me that we are all West African slaves, then why in 1816, long before the Civil War even started, are white people trying to convince us to move somewhere else? Why would they even have to convince us? If we're just slaves, they should just be able to ship us somewhere. Oh,
okay.
But wait,
Sir, can I ask you?
you can shut the fuck up while I'm talking, or you can leave.
You bring Jay?
You can shut the fuck up while I'm talking, or you can leave. I'm educating your backwards ass for free 99. The least you can do is shut the fuck up and get these gems. Shut up. I'll do whatever I want. Migrant hiding out in South Korea trying to tell me about me and my people. Colonization Society starts 1816. They're trying to convince us to go to Africa, go to Panama, go anywhere else but here. If these are West African slaves in 1816, they wouldn't have to try to convince us to do nothing. These are free Black people in 1816. Matter of fact, if any of you guys know about the Carolinas on census records have a huge demographic of free persons of color since way before the Civil War. So where did all these free Black people come from? I mean, the immigrant Liberian and South Korea wants to tell us that we all come from West African slaves, but where did all these free Black people on the census come from?
Oh, you got Gummy the Dummy that want to come up.
Hold on, Tyrone. Don't interrupt. We're going to bring up whoever wants to come up. But this is what I was trying to get to, because he's trying to do our ancestors disservice, misquoting Martin and Malcolm. Frederick Douglass wrote in his own newspaper about the colonization schemes that Lincoln and others were trying to perpetrate on our community. This is the digital archive on my website. I'm an archivist. I've got over 800 documents with nothing but receipts. He really didn't know who he was talking to. Watch me school him. This is Frederick Douglass's newspaper, January 22nd, 1852. Again, we talking before emancipation. Look at what our ancestors are talking about. Frederick Douglass says, and I quote, there is no, and actually, hold on, I'm gonna zoom in on this a little bit more. Is there a way for me to zoom in on a little more? I guess that's all I can do. Check it out, y'all. He says, there is no sentiment more universally entertained, nor more firmly held by the free colored people of the United States than that this is their native land. But we gonna let a fucking migrant in South Korea tell us who we are? Frederick Douglass back in 1852 said there is no sentiment more universally entertained nor more firmly held by the free colored people of the United States than that this is their native land, and that here, for good or for evil, their destiny is to be wrought out. Identified with the entire history of the American people, going back more than 200 years, this sentiment is natural and praiseworthy. There is not now, there never has been, and we think there never will be, any general desire on the part of our people to immigrate from this land to any other, and least of all to the wilds of Africa. But we got an African in Korea trying to tell us we come from Africa. But our ancestors said we native to this land and we don't want to go to the wilds of Africa. And because a few of our ancestors got doped and swindled into going and starting a colony called Liberia, this motherfucker want to try to use that as evidence of us being African now? Oh, those Black Americans who went and colonized Africa, were they really indigenous to America? Well, guess what? If they were indigenous to Africa, they wouldn't be colonizing it. They'd be going home. You see how that works? But let me check out the super chat real quick over on YouTube. Coming from I Am Baby Girl Slaughter says, excellent. Live as always, Mike. Just purchased the Hidden Heritage course as well as your new book. Thanks for yesterday's consultation. I'll be in touch in a few days to begin my genealogy. Much respect. Wait a minute. Time out. We had a consultation yesterday? Guys, if you don't know, Sundays are my consultation days, and I literally do like 10 consultations back to back to back. Each one are like an hour and a half. I do like 9-10 consultations back to back to back. Whenever we did the consultation, I didn't put 2 and 2 together, and I didn't realize that that photo and that tag name, or whatever you want to call it, on that username on YouTube, I didn't realize that was you. So this whole time when I see you in the chat, I still wasn't putting the correlation together. So shout out to you. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I don't want to dox you. Does your biological name start with a G by any chance? Does it start with a G? Or do I have you mixed up with another lady I consulted with yesterday? But yeah, shout out to you. I appreciate you. She said, yes. Yes, we met yesterday. Yeah, hold on. Is your name start with a G? I could be off. I could be way off. Let me know. I Am Baby Girl Slaughter. And sometimes I forget to ask people when I consult with them, hey, so just for future reference, what's your name in the TikTok chat? What's your name in the YouTube chat? Baby Girl Slaughter, where you at? Where you at? Give me some feedback. Give me some feedback. Dory said, Heglin. Hold on, time out. I gotta look at my calendar now. This is gonna eat me up. It's gonna eat me up. I must have connected with you early on in the day. Let me see. We got some more people backstage. We're gonna bring up some more callers in just a moment. I just really hate it when I consult with people and I don't know what their YouTube name or TikTok name is, because then when I see them in the chat, I don't put 2 and 2 together. Okay, here we go. Here's my calendar. Yeah, I'm telling you, yesterday was yesterday was a blur. Yesterday I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 consultations yesterday, back to back to back to back. Let me see. Oh, I see you. Yeah. Oh, okay. So what it was is you were like my second consultation for the day. So yeah, it was the moaning. It was the moaning. I got you locked in now. And I guess I should have known that it was you because of the slaughter. Actually, is Slaughter your real middle name, or did you just add that in the consultation so that I would know that that's you in the chat? That's kind of dope if that's your actual middle name. Come on. But yeah, no, shout out to you. It was a pleasure connecting with you yesterday. I wish I would have asked you what your tag is. And I appreciate you supporting the mission. You know, this is a crowd-funded operation. I'm able to keep doing what I'm doing because of folks like you who book a session, get the book, get the course. So huge shout out to you. But guess what, guys? The Bush baby, I hope he calls back in. I would have really loved to speak with him more. He just couldn't hold his tongue when I was speaking. This is another thing I wanted to share with the Bush baby, because this isn't just a one-off, this article right here. He wants to quote Martin and Malcolm. Let's go to another article written before Martin and Malcolm. Let's talk about it. I believe this one is from Dr. J.R. Hawkins. Here we go. Kansas City, Missouri. Disenfranchise the Negro and send him back to Africa? Absurd. Impossible. More than $1 billion worth of United States real estate, which he owns in his own name in the United States, is not easily to be taken from him. Besides, the Negro is not an African. He is an American. African is a misnomer. Why try to send him to a country which is not his own? This is crazy, y'all. This is so strange. This is so strange. We have Africans in South Korea trying to tell us we come from Africa, but our own ancestors are saying, no, Africans, a misnomer. That's not our country. We don't want to go to the wilds of Africa. No, 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 no. And it's unfortunate because we couldn't even figure out like why the African in South Korea like thought he had a dog in his fight. Like, why do you want to call in? Matter of fact, fuck it. What time is it in South Korea right now? I bet you it's like 3 a.m. or some shit. Time in South Korea. Oh, okay. It's 1:30. It's 1:03 p.m. So y'all are actually in like the whole next day. Okay, so it's the middle of the day for you. So middle of the day, South Korea. He's like, let me call into these Black indigenous people and try to convince them that they really come from Africa. All right. We all spend our free time differently. Tyrone, go ahead, unmute yourself. You said that there was Gummy something or
Gummy Slobby J history. He wants that work. He over here claiming that Frederick Douglass was an African and advocating to go back to Africa. He want that work.
Where's he at? I don't see him backstage. Hey, he can be in the chat, but if he ain't backstage, if he ain't calling in, I mean, we can't really spend no time on it.
I know,
but it is wild for him to try to disrespect Frederick Douglass like that when we literally just read Frederick Douglass's own paper where he's, I mean, these motherfuckers, come on. I can literally read you the words that Frederick Douglass printed is in his own paper, and y'all will still be in the chat talking about a whole bunch of bullshit. Hey. But hey, we got Jay History backstage. Jay, when I bring you up, let us know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind.
Yeah, that's Gumby.
Yeah.
That work.
Yeah, so again, the paper is showing you don't have the comprehension skills on.
Sir, you don't have the comprehension skills to answer the first question I asked you. I said, where are you calling in from?
You didn't talk. Yeah, I'm from West Africa.
Okay.
More specifically speaking.
West Africa is not a country. Go ahead. What country?
Yeah, Mali. I'm from Mali.
Mali. Okay.
Yeah, so you want, yeah.
And
so you want to have a discussion.
Time out. You've got a lot of animosity. We can all sense it. Just breathe in.
Okay,
no. Breathe in, breathe out. We're gonna slow down and we're gonna have a long conversation. Just relax. Don't try to rush it. Don't try to rush it. Now, the first thing that I want to ask you, because I've never talking to a dude from Mali before. What time is it in Mali?
I don't live in Mali currently speaking, but I feel like this kind of a deflection.
Oh, sir, it's not a deflection. I honestly just wanted to know what the time conversion was. But since you said you're not living in Mali, I want to know now, where are you living?
I live in the place that Douglas came from. That's where I live in, currently speaking in America. So
you live in the place that Douglas came from?
Yeah, where I was born at. So can we have a discussion on that?
Sir, why are you being so cryptic? Just tell us the state in America you're calling.
So what isn't cryptic? I mean, I'm in America. That doesn't matter. I'm not going to dox myself for you. I'm in America.
It's not doxing by telling us the state. I'm in Oklahoma. Tyrone, I think he's in Carolina.
Sure, yeah, I'm in Texas. I'm in Texas. Can we go on the question? I'm in Texas right now. Houston. Can we get on with the conversation?
I mean, I don't think Douglas was in Texas, but okay, we can get on with the conversation. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Okay, so I want to just start. Obviously, the newspaper showed that article from Douglas himself. So again, when it comes to Douglas himself, like most Black Americans back in the days, those guys were educated. So when it comes to Douglas using words like native, he was not referring to Black American people being indigenous to the land. So when it comes to the word native itself, every single person can go pick up a dictionary. The word native itself defines as any single person that is born on a land. So when it comes to Douglas saying that the Black man in America is native to this land, that is not him as a person addressing Black American people as being indigenous American. The word native itself, historically speaking, has never been used as a term to refer to indigenous people on a land. The word Native American was a political term that was coined by indigenous people in the mid 1900s. So the word native itself in every single dictionary defines as what a person that is born in the land. So when it comes to Douglas himself, in his multiple autobiographies that Douglas wrote himself, he identified, firmly speaking, as an African descent. Douglas himself, in his 1854 biography called The Life of a Slave, Douglas himself identified as what? An African. I'm going to read his own biography real quick.
Thank you. You said a whole lot. Wait a moment so we can digest. I think he really just said one thing, but he kept repeating it over and over again. So
yeah, can I present myself? I'm not really
shut
done.
the fuck up when I mute you until I tell you to
present my
unmute.
source?
No, you can shut up when
I'm not
I
really
mute
done. Can I
you.
present my source?
You can shut up until I tell you to unmute yourself. And if you don't know the rules of engagement, kick rocks. Motherfucker from Mali hiding out in the US of A somewhere, undisclosed location, motherfucker. Chill. We'll let you call back in, but it's like you're like so excited and so nervous to talk to me. It's just like, damn, we're getting anxiety just listening to you. So again, I'm trying to make sure my audience understands. It sounds like he just said a whole lot, but he really just said one thing and he repeated it like 7 times. I don't know why. So his stance is, oh, Mike, you're right. Frederick Douglass did say Black Americans are native to America, but see, he didn't mean native like indigenous. He just meant native like y'all were born here. Funny how he doesn't want to touch on the fact where Frederick Douglass also said that there is never any want, any desire, any need. Let me pull up the exact quote. He said, "There is not now, there never has been, and we think there never will be any general desire on the part of our people to immigrate from this land to any other, and least of all to the wilds of Africa." Why don't we talk about that part, African man? Don't get up here and try to get into etymology and, oh, he said you're native, but really he just meant you're born here. Why don't we talk about the fact that he says we have no general desire to immigrate from this land to any other, and least of all to the wilds of Africa? If Frederick Douglass really identified as an African, like you said, then he would be referencing it as the motherland, and he should say we should all go back to our motherland. But he said, and I quote, "There is not now, there never has been, and we think there never will be any general desire on the part of our people to immigrate from this land to any other, and least of all to the wilds of Africa." How are you going to explain that one away? I'm just wondering, like, can you call back in? Like, how can you explain that part away? You don't have no native cop out on that one. You can't say, oh, well, he didn't really call Africa the wilds of Africa. He just meant that it was. I mean, I would love to see him explain this one away. I'm confused. I'm perplexed. Tyrone, what do you think? Unmute yourself. We have 2 more people backstage. I'm going to bring them up. But I mean, it's so strange how these Africans are trying their hardest to convince us that we come from Africa. And we had one calling in from South Korea and one calling in from our ancestral homeland. I mean, if y'all love being African so much, why don't y'all even want to live there? Is this like some weird psyops where they want to like convince us to go to Africa so they can come over here and trade places? I'm just confused.
It is.
I'm just confused.
It's both. They trying to flee their poverty. But yeah, this guy does the exact same thing that he's accusing you of when you go to his platform. Control the narrative and try to boot and mute people while they mid-conversation debunking his talking points. So yeah, we're gonna treat you exactly how you treat others on this
And a
platform.
blind person could see I only muted him because he kept running his fucking mouth when I'm trying to talk.
Mhm.
When I talk, you shut up. When I put you on mute, you stay on mute until I say, okay, unmute yourself. Otherwise, don't call in to talk to me, African boy. I didn't call in to talk to you. I don't give a damn about an African migrant hiding out in who knows what state. But y'all care about us. See how that works? Well, hold on. Let's see who backstage. Jay or Gummy or whatever your name was. Hopefully you'll call back in and maybe you'll want to address the second line down below, the second red line area. You know, I know the first one, you're really on that one. You said, okay, Frederick said this is your native land, but really he didn't mean native like that. And take my word for it, Frederick said he was an African, but please come up here and explain away the part where he clearly says there is not now, there never has been and we think there never will be any general desire on the part of our people to emigrate from this land to any other, and least of all, to the wilds of Africa. I mean, for someone who identifies as African, he talking about Africa kind of reckless, y'all. He said least of all. Least. Real quick before we bring up some more callers, we got Ray. Ray says they're so dead set on us coming from them because that means they can take credit for everything we've done. Ooh. That's a bar. That's a bar. Texas says Africans stank through the phone. Hey, we ain't gonna be petty. We ain't gonna be petty. Come on. Let me see who we got next. Jay, please call back in and let's hear your remarks on the second part. Oh, we got Jay back. There we go. Jay, what's on your mind?
Okay. So I'm guessing I can have chance to at least respond to what I'm saying. So I'm going to start with the source, and I'm going to get muted pretty soon. Again, this coming from Frederick Douglass' autobiography in 1854 called The Life of a Slave. And this coming from page 63, Douglass himself. If I can open my screen, it clearly says here, I'm going to present the source. From Douglass' autobiography, where Douglass himself identified as an African multiple different times in his diary, The Life of a Slave. Clearly says there, I could, this coming from Douglass' word itself, I could regard them, the more I read, the more I blow and detest my enslavers. I could regard them as no other light than a band of successful robbers who have left their homes and gone to Africa and stolen us from what our homes and reduced what to slavery in a what strange land. This is coming from Douglass' autobiography written by Douglass in 1854, where he referred to Black people as Africa as a home of Black Americans, sir. So therefore, Douglass himself, historically speaking, referred to Africa as a home for Black American people. The second verse in the journal, he said the colored race of people. But obviously, you showed us a newspaper article of Douglass himself addressing Black American people as a colored race. Douglass himself, in his other autobiography that he wrote in 1863, My Bondage, My Freedom, he said, I regard the colored race as no other group of people that descend from dehumanized African people of the African race itself. So this comes from Douglass' autobiography written by Douglass himself, where he referred to Black American people several times as African in his diary. Douglass had a whitey father and an African mother, and Douglass himself always self-identified as African every single time in his—
Time out. I gotta slow you down real quick. I let you speak for quite a moment. You just said, and I quote, Douglass had a white tea father and an African mother. This is the first time I'm hearing about that. What country in Africa was his mother from? Go ahead, unmute yourself.
Douglass himself referred to his mother as African. He did in his own diary.
I just asked you what country in Africa his mother came from. You either know
that's
or you don't
that's
know.
An unlogical question. West Africa. Douglass himself referred to his mother as African, sir, in his own diary.
You just told me Frederick
Douglass. Are you calling Douglass a liar, sir?
Okay, sir. I gotta drop you because now you're not holding your tongue when it's no longer your turn to speak. You just said, and I quote, Douglas's father was white tea and his mother was African. I asked you the very simple question, what country in Africa is his mother from? And then you started babbling and splaining. And then finally you just said West Africa, which isn't a country. So again, I mean, okay. What exactly is he proving, guys? Oh no, he got me. I'm done for. We're not indigenous. Forget the fact that I'm a card-carrying member of the Muskogee Creek Nation. Forget the fact that my famous Black Indian chief of a grandfather is written about in numerous books. Forget the fact that I just wrote a book, 5 Centuries of Paper Genocide, filled with nothing but quotes and primary sources showing how Black indigenous people were reclassified as African since the 1500s, dumbass. If we've been reclassified as African since the 1500s, obviously someone like Frederick Douglass in 1850 something is going to have that as his frame of reference. If the only thing he's ever heard and the only thing he's ever known all his life is this mythical fairy tale of all Black Americans coming from West African slaves that were trafficked in the belly of a slave boat packed like sardines, if that's all he's heard his whole life, then that's what he believes. I don't blame him. If I was born and raised in the 1800s, I think the same thing. We all come from Africa, and the white man stole us from Africa. Sir, that's called a psyops. Frederick Douglass was victim to a global psyops that had already been up and running for 300 years by the time he was even born. I just don't understand what the African thought he was proving. In 2026, there are plenty of Black Americans who promote the theory that we all come from West African slaves and we're not indigenous at all. That's their opinion. You could have pulled a quote from Frederick Douglass where he said, every Black American comes from West Africa. That's his opinion. With the extremely limited information available to him in 1850. They didn't even have the internet. They didn't even have, motherfuckers barely even knew how to read and write. And you're expecting Frederick Douglass to know about the racial reclassification and paper genocide that's been going on for hundreds of years. Guys, these Africans, their sources, man, their sources are crazy. That's why you have to be a member of our community to understand the history that we're talking about. We have members of our own family who have fallen victim to the psyops, who be rocking dashikis and on Black History Month doing Wakanda's forever and shit. We have members of our community who fall victim to the Matrix, and that's cool. We let them do them.
And he's a major debunk of this clown, because it says right here, Frederick Douglass' mother, Harriet Bailey, was of quote-unquote African descent, and is believed that her side of the family may have included Native American ancestry. Douglass himself later wrote that his mother was the only Black person in their area who could read, suggesting a significant connection to Native American heritage in his family side. His slave master called him his little Indian boy. So that already debunks Gumby.
Oh, damn. I mean...
AI is not a source yet. It's saying family search. And dude, you pull up Google search and you didn't even cite your source. So come back up, Gumby. Come back up here and get your ass whooping.
Damn. Handle my light work, Tyrone. Handle my light work. Hey.
Yep.
I'ma sick the little homie on you. Okay, Tyrone, get him. I didn't even know.
Let's go to his actual quote, since you like to cherry pick.
It's funny how a slave master didn't call him his little African boy, huh?
Mm-hmm. He didn't.
Come on. Guess what? If I raise my son to think we come from Africa, and he raises his son to think we come from Africa, and he raises his son to think that we come from Africa, then it's no surprise that his son is going to have ingrained in them the belief that we come from Africa, despite his great-great-great-grandfather being a Muskogee Creek Indian. You see how that works? Propaganda, miseducation.
So now I hold that the American Negro owes nothing more to the Negroes in Africa than he owes to the Negroes in America. There is millions of needy people over there, but there are also millions of needy people over here, as well as the millions in America need intelligent men of their number to help them as much as the intelligent men are needed in Africa to help her own people. Besides, we have a fight on our hands right here in America. The fight of redemption of the whole race, and a blow struck successfully for the Negro in America is a blow struck for the Negro in Africa. For until the Negro is respected in America, he need not accept consideration elsewhere. All this native land talk, however, is nonsense. The native land of the Americas is the Negro's homeland. That's verbatim what he said, but your Marcus Garvey, who's Umar Johnson's icon, he's sitting up here saying give it over to the Ku Klux Klan, and that the Ku Klux Klan is the greater friend to the race. And he ain't even from here.
Damn.
So who we supposed to trust? You or some random tether that's coming over here saying, oh, y'all African, but they turn around and show us they ass to kiss when we go over there and try and build their own country up. That's crazy work.
Yeah, that's crazy work. Hey, Jay, come back up. I'm just gonna sit back and Jay, this is how I'll do it. This is good scholarship. If you come back up, Jay, I'll give you 2 minutes to speak uninterrupted. Then I'll give Tyrone 2 minutes to speak uninterrupted. And this is how we'll do it. But yeah, Tyrone just hipped us to some information I didn't even know about. Shout out to Tyrone. I see several people trying to call backstage. Before we get to some more live callers, if there's anybody new to my platform, I urge you to check out my website, nativeblackancestry.com. I built it out with tons of historical references to help you on your journey of discovery. I'm a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation, professional genealogist, and my mission is to help you learn how to trace your family's heritage. Guess what? You might have a West African slave ancestor. You'll never know unless you do your genealogy. But I'm just going to let you in on a little secret. I've personally done genealogy work for hundreds of Black Americans across the country. I've literally had 3 clients who can trace African admixture. Do with that what you will. But let me see if we got Jay coming back to have a nice little back and forth with Tyrone. Let me see. We got Jay backstage. Perfect. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to let Jay have his 2 minutes. We're going to let Tyrone have his 2 minutes. And then we'll see if we need to do one more back and forth round. After we're done with that interaction, we've got Blitz the Conqueror we're bringing up. I agree 50, we're going to bring you up. Outsiders, we're going to bring you up. Chief Natural Official, we're going to bring you up in that order. But Jay, when I bring you up, just hold on, hold your tongue, and wait till I get this timer on the screen.
Yeah. So again, you guys can see the difference between me and these guys. All they do is show.
Damn, this motherfucker don't know what hold his tongue until I get the timer on the screen means. Jay, just hold on a second. I'm putting on a timer. Jesus, I thought I was speaking English, and he also speaks English, but whatever. Here we go. We got a 2-minute timer. Yeah. Wait, your turn to speak, boy. Your time starts when you start talking. Go ahead.
Good. Okay, just key points. You can see the difference between a lot of these guys. They don't pull up any actual. Can I get the base screen here? Because I'm presenting the source. I hope I can get the base screen. Yes, unlike these guys, I actually pull up actual diaries. Can I get the base screen? So again, this coming from the actual Frederick Douglass diary written by him in 1865, the narrative of a life of a slave, or primary source evidence. So when it comes to these bombs, they keep on showing AI source. You don't have any credible source that backs up Douglass himself and his mother being an African, being a quote unquote indigenous descendant. That's a lie. So again, this coming from Douglas's words himself. He was describing the lineage of his parents. In his second autobiography, his actual words, my bondage, my friend, clearly says here, he said he was obviously speaking about a poem of his father. It clearly says there, he can be a father without a husband, and he may sell his child. This Douglas speaking about himself without incurring of approach. If the child would be by a woman whose veins courses what 1/32nd part of what African blood. My father is a white man, and my mother is.
Time out.
It's not 2 minutes, sir.
Time out means time out. I paused the
it's
timer.
Douglas' mother.
The timer is paused.
It wasn't 2 minutes, sir. I said
your time is paused.
It wasn't 2 minutes, sir. You missed my.
Your time is paused.
Yeah, bro, mute your mic.
2 minutes, sir. You deflected. It wasn't 2 minutes. Can I allow my plane? Can I allow my point?
Oh my God, he's so
a bunch of pretend exactly.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Can I allow my plane? I wasn't finished.
Fucking Christ. Clearly, you can see that I paused your time. That means that you're still going to get the rest of your 55 seconds. But we have to pause you because I'm looking at the chat and no one can understand anything you're saying. You have an extremely thick accent. People in my chat are literally saying all they hear is blah, 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 babble, 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 babble. I want people to hear your points. I want Tyrone to be able to respond to your points. I just need you to slow down and speak with proper diction. Pronunciate your words so we can understand them. That's all. So call back in. You still have 55 seconds left on the timer. You can clearly see I paused your time. I didn't end the timer. So call back in and you can finish out your 55 seconds. And if you're not backstage in the next 10 seconds, we'll just let Tyrone respond. But shit, I can't let you keep babbling on when no one can hear what you're saying. It's not even so much about the diction. just slow down. You're just blah, 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 blah. It's like you're like nervous or excited or like pressured. Just relax so we can understand you. Okay, he's back. And shout out to everybody else waiting patiently backstage. I promise I'm going to get you guys one by one. So, Jay, when I bring you up, your time starts when you start talking, but just speak slower.
Yeah, so I know them are effing fucking slave baby and talking about a person speaking English. So you're a slave baby, sir. I know them are a black American that has a language of a slave master and talking about quote unquote a person speaking English. So
you know what's even worse than being a slave baby? Being an African. I'll be a descendant of American Indians enslaved in their own land for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. I'll take that any day of the week over being a fleeing fucking African. He thought he was cooking with that. You slave baby. Guys, did I offend him by asking him to properly pronunciate his words? Maybe that makes a migrant insecure. Maybe the migrant boy thought that he spoke really good English, and he's learning that he doesn't. He has a thick-ass African accent that nobody can really hear him through. But okay, we're slave babies. Meanwhile, many of my clients do their genealogy and find that we descend from free persons of color, just like Frederick Douglass was talking about free persons of color in his newspaper article. But Tyrone, go ahead. You've got 2 minutes. Time starts when you start talking.
It's funny how that clown came up here disrespecting the lineage, and he's saying that we're supposed to be related, but he calling us slave babies, and they still practice slavery today in Africa. So my source right here, it literally states that we unquestionably got the Indian blood from the Smithsonian archives themselves. This is the Bureau of American Ethnology 19 annual report, 19th edition. It literally states that, and this is y'all favorite word to misuse, which is wabo, right? Native Americans love using this word as a slur towards Black American reclaimants trying to shift the meaning of what a pretendian is, and that don't apply to Negroes. Wabo is somebody that's associated with the dawn. Wabon, great white rabbit, an incarnation of the eastern dawn that brings light and life and drives away the dark shadows like Gumby. And also it says right here that it's similar to Uncle Remus Brer Rabbit's character. And down here it says that Negroes bloodline regardless. American Indians went through slavery, and as their tribes dwindled on the South Carolina or North Carolina, any southeastern woodland coast, they became unquestionably Indian. So you can't negate that fact. And my other source that I want to show right here. This is from E. Franklin Frazier's Negro Family in the United States on page 8. And it literally said that when we're uncovering these slaves narratives about talking about vague born in Africa and all this other stuff, most of these people can't prove it beyond just a narrative because they only seen their relatives briefly and assume that one ancestor was or grandparent was dark skinned. They only seen them once, and they just assumed that they were born in Guinea or somewhere and was trapped in a slave ship. When we actually do the genealogy, it turns out that their people are American Indians that were reclassified to Negro. And they just picked up an African story from white slave owners or YT think tanks in the free African school.
And hindsight being 2020, it's so juvenile. If you really look back on it, because we're so much more advanced and evolved intellectually, to us in 2026, it's so juvenile. We got a white plantation owner who enslaves local indigenous people and then raises their children on his plantation to believe they came from Africa. That way they never try to fight for their land back. I mean, to us, it's so trivial. It's so juvenile. It's like a kid saying he didn't get into the cookie jar, but he got chocolate chips all over his face and shit. Like, to us, we just see through it. But them Africans, the slave master who enslaved you said you come from Africa, so you come from Africa. Frederick Douglass, who was a slave and his slave master was his father, he said that you guys are African, so you're okay. All right. But if we're actually going to cite some sources, then let's cite some sources. Again, if you're not familiar with my website, nativebblackancestry.com, check it out. tons of historical references. And real quick, Tyrone, I'm going to read a couple excerpts from my new book I just published. The Bush Baby is talking to an American Indian who's recognized as an American Indian by the federal United States government. And I just wrote a whole damn book about the 5 centuries of paper genocide that our ancestors went through. You're not qualified to have this discussion with me, African migrant. But check this out, guys. This is my new book, Reclassified: 5 Centuries of Paper Genocide, How Race Was Used to Erase Native Black Americans from 1492 to 2025. And real quick, let me pull up the DG says, where can I find that book? You can find that book on my website, nativeblackancestry.com. Just type in nativeblackancestry.com. It should pop right on up. But let me open up the PDF of that book real quick and read through some primary sources. Because just willy-nilly, I can cite dozens of sources all throughout the centuries citing that we're indigenous to this land. The Bush Baby can't. We had an African trying to talk about loose quotes from Martin and Malcolm. We had a Bush Baby trying to misread Frederick Douglass out of context. But what are you going to do when I read primary sources from the United States government? I wonder. I do wonder. Again, this is my book. Right now I'm selling it as an ebook through my website. I've got the hardcover coming over the next month or two, so just keep an eye out for that. This is Reclassified: 5 Centuries of Paper Genocide, How Race Was Used to Erase Native Black Americans from 1492 to 2025. I take you guys all through the century, starting in 1492. Chapter number 2, we do 1492 to 1600, the first misclassification. Then it's 1600 to 1700, the Indian slave trade era. Then 1700 to 1800, the age of colonial record keepers. Then 1800 to 1880, removal, reclassification, and federal control. You see that fucking Bush Baby's calling in, trying to take out of context quotes from people who lived in the 1850s, but he don't know none of the history of what went down in the 1400s, the 1500s, the 1600s, the 1700s. It's okay. You're not supposed to know. You're a foreigner after all. 1880 to 1910, the Green Peach War and the Dawes Era. 1910 to 1950, the eugenics and racial integrity regime. 1950 to modern day, academia and the new paper genocide. But guys, I'm just going to go to the back of my book because, you know, I have an appendix because that's how you cite sources, something them Bush Babies don't know about. Most of them don't even have legal citizenship. I mean, motherfucker keep talking reckless to me, I might just call ICE. That's probably why he didn't want to let us know what state he's in. Motherfucker hiding out in Minnesota somewhere. But okay, let's go to the back of the book to the appendix. Yeah, Flowery Girl, they know us better than we do, right? Let's go to the appendix. Oh, and shout out to this photo of me and some members of our community. If any of you guys know about Brother Red Pill and Blue Pill in the conscious community out of New York, that's Brother Blue Pill right there. That's your boy Mike right here in the back. And this is a spiritual retreat I was on in 2016. Long before I even had tribal citizenship, long before I even knew definitively that I descend from indigenous Americans. We just know it's in our spirit. We know who we are. We've always felt ties to this land. We've never felt called to go to Africa. Come on. But let me get to this appendix real quick. Let me get to this appendix. Snake Doctor said he's scared somebody gonna run up on him. Yeah. I'm not going to dox myself by telling you what state I'm in. Sounds like a migrant hiding from ICE. But guys, here's the appendix. Let's check this out. Quote, the people of this land are dark, almost the color of the Ethiopians. This is a direct quote. The source is Archival General de Indias, or AGI. These are literally letters from Christopher Columbus and his companions back to Spain from 1493 to 1496. That's how you cite a source. Quote, we found dark Indians, very black in color, though with loose and straight hair. That's from Nicolas de Ovando Papers, 1502. And before some of you Bush Babies start talking about, okay, they said they're black, but they have straight hair. I guess you never seen a black American with straight hair. We do come in that phenotype. You do know we come in every phenotype, right? From the lightest of light to the darkest of dark, to the kinkiest of hair, to the straightest of hair. We do it all. I know you're jealous. Don't be upset. Here's another quote. Quote, Indians of Hispaniola, some of very black skin, but they are not Negroes of Ethiopia. And this is from a royal order on the enslavement of indigenous peoples, 1501. Damn. Let's skip through the years a little bit. Let's get into like the 1600s. Check this out. Quote, a great many of these Indian captives are of dark complexion and are accounted Negroes. The source is Goose Creek Plantation Papers. This is found in the South Carolina Department of Archives and History from 1693. We got Indians being captured as slaves. They are dark complexion and they are counted as Negroes. 1693. But motherfucker want to tell me about something Frederick Douglass said in 1850. Okay. Quote, they be Indians, but are taken and sold for Negroes by reason of their hue. The source is the Charleston, Barbados trade correspondence from 1670 to 1679. Damn, if there was ever an advertisement for my book, it'd be this, right? Go get the book. It's about $40, nativebblackancestry.com. We come in real heavy-handed with the sources. Quote, many of the captives brought in are of such blackness that they are more esteemed Negroes than Indians. That's from the South Carolina Governor's Council Journal, 1698. Come on. Here's another quote. Quote, among the Creek and the Yamasee, there are many Negro Indians, much blacker than the Spanish Indians, end quote. And that's from the Society for the Propagation of the Gospel Missionary Journals from 1720. We got missionaries in 1720 writing about Negro Indians, Indians even blacker than the Spanish Indians. Come on. Here's another quote, and I quote, the Indians dwelling amongst us, if of dark complexion, are generally set down as Negro or mulatto, end quote. And this is from 1746 Colonial Census Notes, Virginia. So what are we talking about here? We gonna let a fucking migrant hiding out in our ancestral homeland, God knows where, we gonna let him tell us where we're from? Or are we gonna listen to the words of our own oppressor? They ain't got no reason to lie. This is from the Moravians. Quote, some of the converts are Indians of the darker sort, but our registers call them Negroes. This is 1758, Playboy. What we talking about? But Tyrone, go ahead and chime in, and then we're going to bring some new people
I hope you got him recorded so we can post this as a a compilation of this Pan Goofy's failure.
You already know, everybody watching on TikTok, if you ever want to catch the replay, go to YouTube. My YouTube channel is Mike TV. All these streams are on YouTube for you to rewatch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And y'all like, share, and subscribe. Y'all hit the like button, send gifts.
We'll sit tight real quick,
Thanks for sending
Tyrone.
me gifts.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody supporting Tyrone as well up here, kicking this indigenous history. We still got some people waiting patiently backstage. Blitz the Conqueror. Blitz, let us know where you calling in from and what's on your mind.
So yeah, I've been listening to the convo, and I think we're like-minded. I agree that Black people are indigenous. There were indigenous people, and I have sources to basically back up most of the things you've shown. I mean, I seriously, like you said, to an African, it would be so crazy to conclude that the same people that enslaved you would try to deceive you into thinking that this isn't your land, so they can tell you go back to Africa as an insult. When in fact, the same people that are indigenous have been described to look exactly like you in multiple sources, just like you shown. So this source I have right here is simply, this is a source they crash out about every time, but it's 1705 Virginia Slave Code, right?
Hold on real quick. Hold on. I'm going to put you on the big screen, brother. Hold up. Let me make sure the folks on YouTube can see you as well. And I am very familiar with this slave code. Go ahead and drop this gem on us.
So this is 1705 Virginia Slave Code. And it literally says that no Negroes, mulattoes, or Indians, although Christians or Jews, Moors, Mohammedans, or other infidels, shall at any time purchase any Christian servant, nor any other, except of their own complexion, or such as declared slaves by this act. So the question I always ask is, if you're trying to say that it was just one homogeneous look of all three of these people, why would they say group all three of these people in the same sentence and then say they can't purchase any servant unless it's their own complexion? And they try to make it seem like Negro is just some objective ethnic group, when in fact, this is what's crazy. Even if you go to the source they try to use to say, well, Negro means African. Negro mean, in the literal source, this defines Negro as a description of color. It literally tells you a native or descendant of the black race of men in Africa, right? The word is never applied to the tawny or olive color inhabitants of the northern coast of Africa, but to the more southern race of men who are quite black. What this is explicitly insinuating is we dictate who is Negro off of literal color, lookership, not off of geographical location, not off of being born in Africa. We look at your skin and we say, well, that's a Negro. I don't understand how anybody could misconstrue this. This is literally saying people are Negro because of how they look, not because of being born in Africa, not because of a geographical location, but how you look. And another thing also, they always compare the indigenous people of North America to Africans. I have three, another source they run from is this source right here, Giovanni de Verrazani. I have three separate sources of them comparing indigenous people to Africans. This is the letter to King Francis. He's literally saying that dark in color, not like Ethiopians, thick black hair, not very long. And they always try to say, well, for some reason, I always hear them try to say that all the indigenous people were short, when in all the primary sources, they're literally saying they are medium, well-proportioned, medium height, and a little taller than we are. And we know Europeans can be pretty tall. So they're saying these people are taller than we are. Where is this notion coming from that they are just always short? And I have another source from, wait a source at. This is a history of travel.
Real quick, before you get to the next source, I just want to piggyback over the Negro thing. Again, Negro is literally just Spanish or black. That's a color descriptor. Europeans have also called Asians Negro. They called certain Filipinos Negrito, to be exact. So people from all across the world have been called Negro if they're dark enough.
All these points get made on panels, and it's just the pseudo-African shuffle. They deflect, and they seem to not actually engage with what they're saying. Because they literally, like you said, they call Asians, they call Indians Negroes. The British, when they colonized India, they said they came across Negroes. They called them Indians, Negroes of India. So, I mean, it's just so this is another source depicting Indians in Virginia in the 1600s. This literally says they are generally of a color brown or rather tawny, which they cast themselves into with a kind of arsenic stone. And they try to deflect and say, well, it's saying they cast themselves into, but it's literally saying keeping them still so smudged and besmeared, either for the custom of the country or the better to defend themselves from the sting of mosquitoes. So this is just like me saying black people are brown, but they cast themselves into it with lotion. And they seriously try to say, well, it's saying they cast themselves into, so that can't be the color of them, even though
and
it's
I've
saying
seen that all the time in early colonizing texts. I see all the time where they come in contact with a black indigenous tribe and they theorize that they're wearing face paint and that's why they're black, or that they're wearing clay masks or something, that's why they're black. I mean, what it really is this is the first time Europeans are finding black people in a place other than Africa.
Yeah.
And they're trying to rationalize it. But real quick, before you keep cooking, I got to drop everybody off the panel for literally 2 minutes. For the folks on YouTube, we've got to end the broadcast on YouTube and push you guys into the next broadcast. For the folks on TikTok, we're going to stay on this broadcast. Nothing will change. But for the folks on YouTube, don't go anywhere. As soon as this stream ends, it's going to count down, and then it's automatically going to push you into the next one. We're still going to keep the content streaming. We just got to do it on a brand new, fresh live stream. So stay tuned to the folks on YouTube. And for the folks on TikTok, just sit tight for just a moment. Just bear with me.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British, man. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners. Raised up the children to worship their images. Set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them. And this shit get way deeper than your pigment.